Up until this stage, you have learned basic HTML structure, but your website still looks very basic. Today, we are going to change that because in this section, you will learn how developers organize real content on web pages. Welcome back. We are doing exactly what successful developers do, showing up and staying consistent. Let's keep building. Now imagine opening a website where everything is the same size, like no title, no sections, no organization. You will just leave that website immediately. Good developers don't just write code. They also structure it so that it will be easy to read. Before we continue, let me show you this first website that was first created in 1991 by Tim Berners-Lee. Now look at Tim Berners-Lee is also the creator of HTML. He's the one who created HTML, and he's also the one who created the first website that uses only HTML. Now you can see how this website, you can see how this website is. This website is very basic, but it's structured very well. You can see we have links here. If you click on it, take us to another page. We are going to get to this section where we are going to create different links and we'll create multiple pages where we can navigate through them. We'll get to that section. But for now, I just want to show you this website. You can see this website is built with just and only HTML. This website is built with only HTML. Now, coming back to our lesson, today we are going to look at the HTML tags, some of the HTML tags, some of the important HTML tags that is going to help us to structure our code very well and build more functionality into our website. Now, because I'm teaching about structure, how to structure a page properly, I'm also going to tell you that you should use only one H1 per page. For example, this is a page, this is a home page. Our home page should have only one H1, which is our header, which is our main header. We can decide to have another header, and the H2 is going to be our second header, a subheading. So that's how the real developers structured their page correctly. Now I've explained to you that HTML give us six headers, which the first one, which I just named header one here. The first one is our main title. This is how to use it. We'll use this H1 for our main title. The second header, the H2 here. Let me just copy this H2 from here. The H2 here we use it for the H2 here is our section title. The H3 here is our subsection. The H3 here will be our subsection. Then the H4 will just be a smaller, maybe one. We need a smaller heading. We'll just use a H4 for it. Smaller heading. The H5 even smaller. This one maybe we still need another smaller, a heading that will be smaller than this H4. We'll just use H5 for it. Then the H6 here will just be, let me say, we need a very tiny heading. Then we'll just use H6 for it. So this is how to structure your code properly when writing your code. You are writing a code so that you'll be able to read. Other developers will be able to also read your code. The browser will be able to read understand your code very well. So this is how you should structure your code and use all the tags and use these tags. So now let's continue. But before we continue, let me open this. Let me open this. So you just come here and click go live. Hope you have not forgotten how to do that. When you click go live, you just open in your browser. So you can see now it's showing in my browser. So I just want to do it here so that we have it like this. Let's have it like this. Let me make this bigger. Let me close my status bar here. Let me reduce this login here so that it will be very small. Or let me just type in a text here. I am about to, let me say, become a developer. Let me just write this like this. What I want to show you that anytime you open a tag, also close this tag. For example, you do something like this. You can see doing something like this is not proper in HTML. You have to also close the tag. You have to also close this tag. Now you can put your paragraph content inside there. That's just what HTML is. If you look at what we have been doing here so far, when we open our H1 tag, we also close it with another tag that have this slash like this. When we open our title tag, we also close it with another slash that have it like this. Now we have some safe close tags in HTML. When we reach to that section, I'm going to show you how some safe close tag in HTML that you don't have to have an open and closing. They can also close themselves. When we get to that section, I'm going to explain it to you better, much better. Now, the first tag I want to introduce to you here is the strong tag. So let me just type that. Let me say strong. You can see it's giving me an auto suggest here. Let me say strong. I am about to become a developer. Let me just say I am about. Let me just put this I am about inside here. You can see this tag now is a nested tag. What I mean by nested tag is just some tags that can be inside another tag. When you hear a developer saying nested, it's just any tags that can be inside another tag. This is a tag, this is a nested tag. I can put this like this for you to see it more clearly. I can do this. So now we are seeing that this is nested inside here. Now I've nested this strong inside the paragraph. So some many nested tag you can always be nesting it, you can add more nested tag and we'll keep nesting it inside another HTML element. Now if you look at this now, we have automatically changed this I am about to be bold. That's what this strong tag is doing here. It helps us to achieve something like this. You can see now that this I am about is now bold, but all of them are still the paragraph. You understand? All of them are still inside the paragraph, but this strong tag here have helped us to achieve making this I am about to be bold. This is sometimes used for in a content whereby you want to highlight a particular text. For example, you want to say something like I am serious about becoming a developer. You know what? Let's actually change this to I am serious about becoming. I'm serious about becoming a developer. So in a content like this now, in a text like this, we just cut this strong. We use it in this serious to make this serious bold. I am serious about becoming a developer. If you look at this now, you see that the serious here is bold. So that's one way we can use this strong tag. Now we also have another tag which is bold. The bold is just used with B. I can just say B here. I'll open and close it. Then I'll put this developer inside here. And if you look at these two, both the strong and the bold tag are doing the same thing. You can see the strong make it bold, make it bold. This and the bold B, which is the B tag, also make it bold. Now, but the difference between the strong and the bold tag is that strong actually give this serious here meaning. Just like I told you that the browser understand programming language and HTML here is used to communicate to the browser. The browser also you also want the browser to see meaning in what you are writing. You also want the browser to see meaning in your code. So the strong we are using here gives meaning to this paragraph here, telling that I am serious about becoming a developer. It gives meaning to this serious. It gives meaning to this paragraph. But the bone here, the B tag here, which is the bold, it doesn't give meaning. It's just making the text bold. That's just the difference. The strong here gives meaning, and the B tag here doesn't give meaning. It just makes the text to be bold. Now, the next tag I want to introduce you to is the emphasis versus italic tag. Now, let's say something. Let me just create another paragraph here, and let me say I will stay consistent. So let's just say I will say consistent on my journey. So let me just say I will stay consistent on my journey. Now, the italic tag or the emphasis tag, let's add the italic tag or the emphasis tag here. So the first I want to show you is the emphasis tag. Now, we are going to just add em, emphasize on this consistent. So if you look at how the consistent change, we change this consistent to be an italic word. We change the style to be italic. So that's just what this emphasis tag is doing. This emphasis, just like I told you that the strong here add meaning to this serious. The bold here is not adding meaning, it's just making the text bold. That's the same thing that is happening here. The emphasis tag, which is the em, is emphasizing on this consistent, which means it is adding a meaning to it. It's adding a meaning to this paragraph, saying that we are emphasizing on this word here, which is consistent. But the italic tag, which is written like this, let me just change this journey. Let me say journey like this. The italic tag, which is written like this, is not adding meaning to this paragraph here. Italic tag is not adding meaning, it's just making this text italic. I want to believe we understand that the emphasis here is adding meaning to this paragraph, telling it to emphasize on this consistent. Same thing as in this paragraph, where the strong tag here is adding meaning to this paragraph, telling it that this serious this serious should be bold because it's important to this person here. So it add meaning to this paragraph. The B tag here doesn't add meaning, it just make the text bold. Same thing as the I tag here, the italic tag here, it doesn't add meaning, it's just making the text bold. So that's the difference between these two tags, these two HTML tags. Next tag I want to introduce you to is how we can write lists in HTML. Now, writing a list in HTML is very, very important. It helps you to organize your code, your information very, very well. Now, for example, let me create a list here. Let me start by having a H1, and let me say skills I want to learn, or let me call it a H2 since we already have a H1 here that said main title. Let's use a H2 now. Let's use a H2 here. It doesn't actually mean, but I just want to follow this. Let me use a H2 in here now. So let me just go in here and remove H2. So anytime I use a tag, I will come back here and remove it so that every tag, every HTML tag will be used in our document. So let me say now, the H2 here is skills I want to learn. Now I believe we should have another L in here. Skills I want to learn. Now we are going to create a list of the skills we are going to learn. Now creating a list, the first thing we are going to do, we have a UL tag. Now this UL tag is the unordered list. I'm going to show you two types of lists we can create. The first one here is the unordered list, which have this bullet point. Let's just do a little example so that you see it. Now creating a list, the first thing you have to declare if it's an unordered list or an ordered list. Now we are going to first start with the unordered list, which you declare like this. Unordered list, you open the tag and you close the tag. Now inside here, you are going to nest the list item you want to create. Now I'll just say li, which stands for the list item. Now the first list item I want to say here is HTML. So the first thing we want to learn here is HTML. The second one, CSS. So you can see how we are creating an unordered list. The third one here, JavaScript. You can see how we are creating an unordered list. The fourth one here I want to also add is React.js. Now you can see how we have created a list here. You can see how this document is well arranged. We have our H2 that said skills I want to learn. We declared an unordered list. We declared an unordered list, and we added some list item into this unordered list. Now we are going to move to the second way we can create list, which is the ordered list. Now to create an ordered list, let me have another heading here. Let me just use an H3 tag, my learning plan, and let me call it my learning plan. And in this my learning plan, now I want to have an unordered list. Now just like we declared a list item here, we declared an ordered list item here before putting the list items. That's the sense we want to do when creating an unordered list. We want to create an unordered list tag here before putting the list item inside of it. Now let's create some list item inside here. You say my learning plan. You can choose to put your learning plan in here if you want to customize this your own way, but I'm just going to write some of my learning plan in here. Now the first thing is practice daily, which is very important. Practice daily. Now, if you look at the way this ordered list is, you can see now that we have numbered this one. So we can have another list here, and we can call it, or we can say my learning plan. I can say build project. Now I can say I can add another learning plan. I can say avoid quitting. So you can see how we have structured our documents here. We first created an unordered list that just have a bullet point here, that gives the list item just a bullet point here. Then we also have an ordered list that gives these list items, that number these list items, giving them in order. So that's just the two types of the two list items you can create using the list tag in HTML. You can see to create a list in HTML, we can either use create it as an unordered list, or we can create it as an ordered list. Both of them are just declared like this. Then the list item are passed into it. So that's how we create list with HTML. So the next thing I want to give us here is line breaker. The next tag I want to give us here is line breaker vs paragraph. How we can have a line breaker and how we can have paragraph. Why I want to give you this, because if you look at something like, for example, where we have a lot of paragraph, I'm just going to give you another paragraph here. So in this paragraph, I just want to type, I will not quit, I will stay focused, I will succeed. I will succeed. Now, I just want to now the tags I want to introduce you to now is the line break versus paragraph tag. Now, I want to add a line break to this code. You can see now that saying something like I will not quit, I will not quit, I will stay focused, I will succeed. Having it in a straight in the same line doesn't make it look good, doesn't make it readable, and doesn't bring out the meaning in the right way. Now, I want to add a line breaker that change this line. The first line breaker I want to add here is I will not quit. In this I will not quit, I'm going to add a line breaker which is used as just BR. When you type BR like this, if you look at what happened here, BR break this to the next line. You can see what is happening here. We have break this from I will not quit, then we break it to let me just make this bold. You can see what we just did here. I will not quit, we make it and we add it to the next line. Now I will stay focused. I'm also going to add a line breaker here. You can see now that we have shift. I will stay focused to the next. I've also switched. I will stay focused to the next line. So that's just the line break tag that we'll be using. So this line break just help us to move text to the next line without starting another paragraph. As you can see, all of them are in the same paragraph. All of them are in the same paragraph, but the line breaker here just help us to move them to the next line without typing another paragraph, without having another paragraph. And one thing I want to tell you is that don't use line space to create space. For example, you want to have multiple space here and you just do line break, you do a double line break, and you keep doing a double line break to have space. This is a very bad habit, or should I say bad practice to follow when coding. You don't have to do it like this. And when we get to the CSS section, I'm going to show you how we can create space, how we can create a proper space without using line break. So don't use line break to create space. Line break is just used to shift the text to the next line without creating another paragraph. So all of them will be in the same paragraph, but they are going to be in a separate line. That's just what line break is used for. So the next one I want to show you here is the horizontal rule. For example, here that we have skills I want to learn, skills I want to learn, and my learning path. I want to add a horizontal rule here that is going to separate these two sections. So I say these two lists that I've created. Now, a simple way to add an horizontal rule is just the HR. If you look at what have happened here, the HR I added, the HR tag I added here just created a horizontal rule. Even though if we open this, you can see now that we have a horizontal rule here in the middle of these skills and these skills. So that's just how horizontal line is being created with HTML. We are going to build a beginner profile page together here using all these HTML tags that we have learned so far. Now, let's take this step by step. I would like to cancel all this code. If you don't want to cancel this code, if you need all this code that is here, all you have to do is just to create here, go to this file over here, and maybe you should just create lesson one, and maybe you can move all this code here, all this code that is inside here, you can just go here, you create a file, you see lesson one. Should I call it HTML? HTML one. This is actually HTML2, but let me just leave it at HTML1 dot HTML. So we can actually leave it like this. And don't get yourself confused. I just want to keep this code so that uh for those people that still need it, that's why I just want to keep this code. So in here now, I want us to use this our index file in here to create a mini project. So I'm just going to clear everything that's here so that we'll start building from scratch. So let me just clear this totally and let's start building this from scratch. So if you can do this yourself, it's very good for you to pause this video, try creating this from scratch, practice what you have learned, and know if you are really improving. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this again from scratch. The first thing I'm going to declare is my doc type. After my doc type, I'm going to start an HTML. Then in my HTML, I'm going to first have the head. Inside my head, I need a title. My title will just be I'm just going to give this title developer profile. Just going to call this developer profile. Let me refresh this. Let me see developer profile in here. So in here, I'm going to have my body. So inside my body now, that's where I'm going to start writing my content. Now, the first thing I want here is an H1. I need a header tag. So I'll use a H1 for an header tag. Then I'm going to say Vincent developer profile. So you can use your name there if you want. I'll just say Vincent developer profile. I make this large. That's why you are seeing it. Like, let me just reset it to the default. So now you can see Vincent developer profile as my H1. My paragraph here, I'm going to have a paragraph here that's going to say I am on a journey to become a professional full stack. Let me just do it like this: full stack web developer. So now you can see what we are doing here. I'm on a journey to become a full stack web developer. Then let's have a horizontal rule here to check to separate it from the next section. So you can see I'm just going to have an horizontal rule here. I'm going to rule this because what I'm doing here, recent developer profile. I'm on a journey to become a professional full stack developer. Then I have a horizontal rule here, which is this. So let's continue. After the horizontal rule here, I'm going to now have a subheading, a H2. I'm going to say about me. So you must not put more details here. Just feel free to you are free to do this yourself. Um, put your details or customize it anyhow you want. So about me, I'm going to say I enjoy building things and and solving problems with technology. So you can see I enjoy building things and solving problems with technology. So I'm going to have another H2 tag here. I just want it to be an H2 tag. In here, I want to have another H2 tag. And in this H2 tag, I'm going to say skills I'm learning. So let's add the skills we are learning here. So skills I am learning. So very simple like this. In here now, I want you to create this as an unordered list. Let's first create an unordered list. So in this unordered list, we have a list item. So the list item, let's say the skills we are learning HTML, we're also learning CSS, we're also learning JavaScript. So type this yourself, don't copy and paste, just type this yourself so that you keep getting used to how to write them. So the second one I want to have here, I want to also name this H2. So I want to call this my daily routine. So in my daily routine, I want to make this an ordered list. So my daily routine, I want to have a list item. And my first daily routine, let me say study. The second one, practice, very important. Practice. The third one here is build. So study, practice, build. Now you can see now that we are trying to create a developer profile using what we have learned so far. Now if we check this on our browser, you can see what we have built here so far. We have built a developer profile here. My name is Vincent, developer profile. I am on a journey to become a professional full stack web developer. About me, I enjoy building things and solving problems with technology. Skills I'm learning, I list the skills in an unordered list. My daily routine, I list my daily routine in an ordered list. So that is just what you have learned so far. This no long Now just look at what you have built. This is no longer random code. You have built a very well structured website. This is a very well structured website. So today we have learned how to structure read content, headings, paragraph, how to write our strong text, emphasis, lists, line breaks, horizontal rows. In this course, we didn't actually in this project we created. It just come to my mind now. In this project we created, we didn't use our emphasis and our strong, but feel free to add that. This now give us a basic developer profile. So now that's just what we have learned so far. And now, in the next video, I'm going to teach you how to add images, video, and audio in your website. And when you start doing that, once you become able to do that, your page or your website will start looking real. I will see you in that next lesson.